Hi friends, welcome back to the channel, and this is your daily news. So I want to start with this one. Sentinel-1, there's a cybersecurity company that had horrible earnings, and the stock basically tanked like 30-some% in a day. And I think this represents sort of where we are in the market right now, to where the bubble has popped on these kind of companies. There was a whole bunch of companies that went IPO the last couple of years because essentially the money was just flowing, everything was being hyped up. And it's interesting because we're at a turning point. Are we going to that world again with the AI stuff? And I want to put this together with another story that's happening as well. You can see this one. We'll read the headlines together. Amazon is in talks to offer free mobile service to US Prime members. And I think both these stories together tell the story of what's happening right now, to where I think these unprofitable companies are going to be failing. The bubble will finally pop. Some of them will get bought up by the big ones. And also, too, we have the expansion of bigger tech companies essentially in the US. Myself, I'm not thrilled of just having just a few companies own everything. I don't think that's healthy. I don't think it's a good thing. But I do understand, in terms of like value to customer, like, okay, I already offer you, Prime, which is the basically free delivery on Amazon. And if you just pay, a few extra dollars or whatever, or we'll just bundle it in there and give it to you for free, we're going to give you phone service, and that's going to take a hit on your Verizon, T-Mobile, AT&T, these kind of things. But this will sort of be the overall trend: is if we go this route to where we let Amazon open up phone service, essentially it pushes out the competition. The competition folds or whatever, just for example, and then Amazon has complete monopoly and they can do whatever they want, because already Amazon has rubbed out a lot of brick and mortar stores, which it is what it is. But I think this particular one is a bigger one because especially in telecom, you don't want to just have a few players control everything. And I can just tell you guys, I live in Korea, and internet is better, it's faster, and it's cheaper. And it is what it is. In USA, I mean, you guys know this, like everyone complains about internet service and phone service, etc. It's really expensive. I'll just give you an example. So in Korea, I think we pay maybe $20, something like that, 25, and our internet speed's about 5 times faster than what you'll find in the USA. And I think in USA, internet's like, I think we had Google Go Fiber when we were in North Carolina. I think we paid $70 a month or something like that. It's like ridiculously expensive. And internet's one of the things that I think should be affordable for all families everywhere. That would be one of the top priorities would have if I were to ever run for office, is make internet available for everyone, high speed, because I think that is a key to unlocking the potential of the country. And the phone service one is an interesting one, whether or not Amazon decides to jump in that. It's interesting that our markets have been pumping. I'm going to show you guys this headline here. You can read it. $1 trillion treasury vacuum coming for Wall Street rally. And the basic gist of it is that you guys know the Fed is keeping interest rates elevated. They're also in quantitative tightening, and the money supply is decreasing. So, like, where's all this liquidity come from? According to this article in JP Morgan, I guess Monday there's going to be a big sell-off planned. We will see. Right now, the market is pumping on AI hype, and also pumping on the, hey, we got a debt deal, we're going to keep borrowing money and keep the USA going. It's the whole thing is so bizarre to me. There was no sell in May, go away. It was like buy today and dream about rosier future tomorrow, I guess, or whatever. I can't come up with a great saying for that. But it's odd to me, and I feel like, in my opinion, I feel like the AI hype is very similar to the crypto hype or dot-com bubble kind of hype stuff. I do think AI is a thing. I do, in terms of, like, yes, there is some sort of technology, but we're not at the stage of like a Skynet or anything like that. Right now, the moment of AI is more like, it just, you ask it a question, it goes to the internet or whatever and finds you like an answer, not necessarily like the AI is like thinking per se, how you define thinking. But right now we've been on a AI hype. We'll see what happens on Monday. So, like I said, I tend to be more bearish in these kind of things, mostly because I think a lot of stuff is just crazy. But that's markets. Markets do be crazy. And you put this together with another story I wanted to point out to you guys. This was just a couple days ago. We'll read the headlines together. Macys falls after cutting outlook as demand trends worsen. So if you know anything about the U.S. economy, it's like 70% about is based on essentially consumers, like people buying stuff. And the way you're going to price stocks or whatever is that, just for example, take Apple or Microsoft or Tesla or whatever, is that that company needs to make money by selling people stuff, right? and people have to want to buy stuff and also have the ability to buy stuff. And as interest rates go up, it becomes more difficult for people to buy stuff. And when you get sort of these indicators from some like a Macys that's saying, hey, people just aren't as interested. Either they want to save money because they're worried about the future, or they just don't even have the money because they lost their job, these kind of things. Or you may see some indicators of like people are less likely to want to quit their job because they're not so confident they can find a future job, to replace that job. And so these are always why we have a community. And I ask, and I put this question to you. When you look around in your industry and your job, for example, are you confident enough to where you could just quit today and confident that you could get another job, say, for example, next month or in 2 months or whatever? That's an interesting question because these are sort of like indicators of the economy. Now, if Macys is saying people are spending less, that would indicate that, people are like, you know what, I'm a little bit nervous. I'm not going to go out and buy all these said things. And it's funny because I was thinking about, putting together the Amazon stuff. If like Amazon were to say, hey, you can cut your phone service of Verizon and just, you can bundle that with Prime and save money. Even if the service were worse, people may be focused on, you know what, I just want to save money. And I feel like this is sort of why it's weird that the markets are pumping when people are cutting back on their spending. If you guys understand what I'm saying, like these things are based, like it's supposed to be at least in a rational market, although the market is not rational, is that you're investing in companies where you think their cash flows and profits are going to be better in the future. But it's odd the way our markets are behaving. And I want to put this together with another story which I saw, which I thought was a little bit disturbing. Let me read the headlines for you guys. It says, U.S. mayors cite unprecedented mental health crisis as top concern. And basically, these mayors, they have a meeting, and this would be in towns in USA, and then the leaders have said towns and mayors will say, okay, what problems are you dealing with? What problems are you dealing with? And basically, they're saying like drugs, homelessness, and people having trouble with their economic situation. And the thing that I thought was interesting is like on a symptomatic level, you would say, okay, drugs is the most pressing problem in our city, but what is the underlying cause of that? Is it the drugs themselves? Is it just they're just so addictive it ruins people's lives, or is there a reason why they're are taking said drugs? And I'm just posing this question to you guys. I would make the case that people essentially do drugs when they just don't feel like there's anything else out there for them, and there could be any number of reasons why people do that. But certainly, one of the things I've noticed in USA throughout the years is that many sort of the manufacturing jobs, or basically the jobs that don't require education, essentially, like you don't have to go to higher education, have been dwindling, right? And so if you want to live that sort of glamorous lifestyle that you see on TV, it's hard for you, right? And this is sort of why a lot of the scammy YouTuber people out there become really, really popular, because they say, hey, no training, no experience necessary, buy my $500 real estate course and you too can have riches. Sadly, though, with the way that the situation is now, with interest rates up, the liquidity is not going to be there, right? That there's going to be not that free money being passed around. It's not going to be like so easy to borrow money to get like 10 houses and then use those 10 houses to build up your Airbnb empire. Like that stuff, that whole world is all based on free money. And then when people can't have that sort of lifestyle, they turn to drugs or whatever. But I'd love to hear if you think it's a different reason why why people are sad. I'm just thinking it's more of the sort of the disconnect of the life you think you should have, and then maybe the life and opportunities that you feel you have. And this is sort of why I always say so many times on this channel, you got to have the job skills that people want and people need, and don't expect there to always be a job for you. I think there'll always be a job in terms of like how can I say, there'll be an hourly wage job. Like a minimum wage job will always be there in America, but these days with prices elevated the way that they are, I think you need to position yourself to be in the right fields. I would say, like, for example, nursing, the trades, which I always mention several times, are going to be good. Right now, tech and banking is down. Yes, tourism, restaurants, these kind of stuff, hotels, I think they're still hiring, but they're not going to pay enough to really, make it. And I think that sort of disconnect is creating our substance problem. And I'd be curious your guys' opinions on that. So those are my thoughts on the daily news. I hope everything's going great with you guys. I'll be back in Korea next week and try to get back on a regular schedule. Still, I got a lot of stuff going on my mind. I'm also enjoying time with family. That if you guys know the story, I lost my family 40 years ago and finally reconnected this past couple of weeks. So that's been an emotional journey as well. And I really do appreciate you joining us every single day. So thanks again for watching, and I'll catch you next video.